Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Adriel True and Love, here with your follow-up show from AEW Double or Nothing 2021. And here's your AEW Dynamite review for June 4th, 2021. Now, first of all, before I get into the review, obviously this is another accepted show of Dynamite, or it was last night being a Friday night due to the NBA playoffs. And from what I saw from the schedule last night is the next time AEW Dynamite will be on Wednesday will be on July 7th. So that will be a while then for these Saturday reviews, but nonetheless, I'll still bring them to you. Of course, starting in August 13th, the is when AEW Rampage begins on Fridays, in which I'll be covering, of course, the Dynamite shows and the Rampage shows. So that'll be an extra episode during the week, but nonetheless, it was a good show last night. Saw it open between Pentagon and Pac versus Young Bucks. I mean, we got Andrade Del Idolo, aka Andrade Cien Almas, from the WWE, is now a part of All Elite Wrestling. That's the biggest news coming out last night. I mean, sure, I saw comments, people hate on this, saying he's not good, he sucks, this or that. Obviously, those people who commented that either have not seen his matches or they're a WWE mark or shill that don't realize how he was wasted among all the rest in WWE. But a very good pickup for AEW. Uh, going back to his match with Johnny Gargano, with Aleister Black. I mean, the list goes on. Drew McIntyre. He's had very good matches and just a solid pickup for AEW. We also had Britt Baker's championship celebration, uh, which was abruptly ended by Nyla Rose. So there was that, but stuff to get into. Again, thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast, like and subscribe. Click on the bell for all your notifications as far as reviews, as far as Dynamite, NXT. Another thing is next week we'll have NXT TakeOver in your house, in which I'll be reviewing that as well. So a week, the next Monday, not this Monday, but next Monday, I'll review NXT TakeOver in your house. So that's another thing to look at. Now, let's get into the review after all that, shall we? So, the show started off with Pentagon and Pac of the Death Triangle versus the Young Bucks. Now, firstly, I love Pentagon's Joker look, his attire. He's still repping that from AEW Double or Nothing. But this is the second Dynamite show with fans, and it's so heartwarming to see. Now, also obviously still be in Daly's place until July 7th, which is when they go to Miami. So that will be the first AEW Dynamite show outside Daly's place with fans, which should be a good one. But this match was good and solid for what it was. So, right off the bat, because Kazarian is targeting all the members of the Elite, he attacked Carl Anderson, who, along with Luke Gallows, was with the Young Bucks, along with Brandon Cutler and Don Callis. So he attacked Anderson before the bell and was chased by the Good Brothers out of the arena, which was a strange way to start the match. So then we get into the match, and solid showing for, or excuse me, it was, I believe, Nakazawa. Yeah, Nakazawa. Excuse me. Nakazawa. And then the Good Brothers attacked Kazarian and chased him out of the arena. So then, getting to the match was a slingshot cutter and a standing shooting star by Pac for a near fall. Then a moonsault by Nick Jackson after Pac was trying to tag to Pentagon. That took out Pentagon for the time being from the apron. So then, hot tag to Pentagon. He was hitting sling blades and then House on Fire. Then hit pump handle drop for a near fall. Then Pac got into the match again, hit a sellout powerbomb for a 2 count. Then a double team stomp to Nick Jackson's groin for a close 2 count that looked brutal. Kind of similar to the Dudley Boys spot, but a little different. So then was a destroyer by Penta, and then Matt followed up with a destroyer of his own. Then in a good spot, Penta had Matt Jackson on the apron, and then across from Nick Jackson had Pac, and simultaneously Nick Jackson hit a German suplex on Pac on the apron, while Penta hit a package pile driver on Matt Jackson on the apron. So nice spot. So then, getting in later to the match. So Nick Jackson, in a cool spot, he looked like he was going to rip off the mask of Penta, and he did, but Penta had 2 masks on. So Nick Jackson was celebrating. And then while the referee was distracted, because Rick Knox is pretty much always distracted, Penta hit a low blow, then a package pile driver, followed by a beautiful black arrow by Pac for a near fall. Then Brandon Cutler got involved. He hit the he hit Pac, who was on the top turnbuckle with the camera. I assume they being the elite camera. He hit Pac, and then Nick Jackson with a high stack pin for the win. And the Young Bucks steal a victory. Was a solid effort by Pac and Penta. But you knew, of course, the Young Bucks were going to win, although that Black Girl package hall driver spot had me on the rails. And question is really, who's next in line for the Young Bucks is really the question. But solid open to the show. So then, next we had Mark Henry. He came out, interviewed by Tony Schiavone. He talked about how he wasn't there to fix AEW because it's not broken. He's just here to turn the screws, basically, and help out. Then Tony Schiavone asked the question that they said that is on everybody's mind. Is Mark Henry going to get back into the ring again? So Mark Henry said he's not going to say yes, but he's still got a lot left in the tank. So we go from that to Vicky Guerrero. She came out and interrupted Mark Henry and Tony Schiavone. And she introduced Andrade del Idolo. Now, I was curious because when I came back, because I had to go back to watch the Mark Henry a little bit, but when I came back, all I saw was Vicky Guerrero. And I was curious as to, wait, I saw Mark Henry next up on the screen, and I see Vicky Guerrero, so is she going to introduce Mark Henry? So that confused me. And then next thing you know, I hear Andrade del Idolo, which made me more intrigued because obviously, okay, I missed the Mark Henry thing, but nonetheless, the big story, Andrade del Idolo. So he came out. He looks good as ever, although we haven't seen him in a while on television. But he looked great. He took the microphone. He thanked Vicky. Short and sweet, he said, he used to be the king, he would say, of the Latinos. But now he will soon be the king of all elite wrestling. Short but sweet. And good to see for Andrade del Idolo. Now, we had another mass of releases from WWE earlier this week. So I'm curious, because there's still a lot of interesting free agents out there that AEW should pick up. So besides Andrade, he can have a lot of great matches with everyone in AEW. But still, Aleister Black, Ruby Riott, Mickie James, uh, Samoa Joe. The list goes on, but it's going to be intriguing to see who else Tony Khan and AEW picks up. But again, like I said earlier, a great pickup for AEW. Excuse me for a sec. Sorry. Sorry to step away for a sec, but so we go from this great news and debut of Andrade, and my hype just went to the floor. Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson versus QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo. I mean, the fact that this storyline is still going on, I think people are restless, and I think you can tell with some of the people that were there in Daniel's place, they're just annoyed, and they're just pretty much tired of Cody, and Anthony Ogogo, considering that was his first introduction to a live crowd at Daniel's place and AEW, that just did not suit well. And I tried to be as interested as I could be in this match. I mean, I love Cody and Cody Rhodes. He's obviously one of the best in pro wrestling right now, but the way he's being betrayed, and it's just annoying. So there were some people in the audience for Pride Month that had Cody went and had a little chocolate before the match, and gave one of them his shirt. So, a nice moment before the match. Nonetheless, it was okay. It was okay. I mean, Anthony Ogogo, he had some decent spots. It's just, I'll just get to the end of the match. So basically, Aaron Solo, he distracted the referee, and Ogogo, because Cody Rhodes was going for the crossroads on QT Marshall. And behind the referee's back, because I don't know why they needed to distract the referee, but nonetheless, Anthony Ogogo, he knocked out Cody Rhodes with a hook, and Keith Marshall pinned him 1, 2, 3 for the win. It's just. Anyway, next segment. So after that, we had the Inner Circle victory lap. The Inner Circle came out. The crowd was obviously singing Judas. along with Jericho. So they showed highlights of the Stadium Stampede match. Very good match. Again, watching some of the highlights. So they all came out. Santana, he took the microphone, talked about how FTR tried to end their careers with those pile drivers through tables. They try to take food off their table, their family's tables, which doesn't sit well with him. Apparently, everyone who was there got free shirts of the Stadium Stampede Inner Circle that were under their seats. So that was a good spot. And I must say, those shirts look pretty cool. I mean, I kind of wish I was there just so I could get a free shirt, but oh well. So Jericho, he thanks Sammy Guevara for catapulting them to the victory because Sammy obviously pinned Shawn Spears to win. He talked about times where he would do the 630 off his mom's roof at home when they were young. And talked about how his mom would say, "Get off the roof." And he would say, "Okay," and do the move off the roof. Silly Sammy. So Hager took the microphone. I have to say he's getting better on the microphone. I will say that from last year, pretty much. So he challenged Wardlow to a place he hasn't lost before, an MMA cage fight in 2 weeks on Dynamite. So that's interesting. And Jericho took the microphone and said he will beat MJF. The Inner Circle does not forgive and doesn't forget. They said some more stuff, but that was the main points from this promo. Solid promo. I'm intrigued, first of all, how they would do the MMA cage fight. First of all, with Hager and Jericho, or excuse me, Hager and Wardlow. That's interesting because we haven't seen a lot still of Wardlow in quite a while as far as the one-on-one aspect. Second, they talked about how this feud is not over. And it looks like they're taking some time with it, letting it breathe. The cage fight, they said, I imagine we're going to get FTR versus Santana Ortiz, which would be a damn good tag team match. Then eventually we'll get MJF and Jericho. And I wouldn't mind seeing a match with Sammy Guevara and Shawn Spears down the road either. So I like it because the individual matches, if they're going to let it breathe, and then I imagine that it's going to escalate into the third and rubber match at All Out. But did what it needed to do. So then we had Jungle Boy and Christian Cage first private party. Now, I must say, because I saw the attires of private party during the Battle Royal of Double or Nothing, and it just made my just raised my eyebrows at the fact that they have pretty much made Private Party look unique. They look like they could be working at a fast food chain, pretty much or working in the office with that attire. It's just strange. Now, I get it, you're working for Matt Hardy, the Hardy family office. Matt Hardy's pretty much big money Matt at this point. So, but it's just strange. And they don't look like. And as far as the match goes, it was a quality match, but it's just how fallen Pride Party has become. And that's disappointing. Nonetheless, so Jungle Boy, he won with the snare trap. And Mark Clen tapped. Afterwards, Matt Hardy hit the twist fate on Christian on the rampway, and then he ran away in a weird fashion. So they said that in 3 weeks, the match will happen with Jungle Boy and Kenny Omega, which should be very interesting. And I'm curious if Christian Cage, because with the fans talking about how Christian's return has become, I'm curious if perhaps Christian turns on Jungle Boy, and that's how they keep Jungle Boy strong after or during this match with Omega. I'm curious how it's going to go, but solid match did what it needed to. Then we had a uninteresting segment between Darby Allin, Sting, and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. It wasn't uninteresting because Darby Allin, Sting. It's just I cannot enjoy this pairing between Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. It just doesn't make sense to me. Just doesn't. Anyway, so Scorpio Sky, he called out Darby Allin to find a partner besides Sting and prove him wrong. Now, what I hope happens, because he did not look good on Sunday night against Miro. So I'm curious, because he's also helped him against Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I'm curious if we get Lance Archer paired with Darby Allin, and perhaps, because he needs a win, he needs help after that loss against Miro. What if we get Archer picking apart Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky again, And that's kind of how we start the reset again of Lance Archer. That's just my theory. We'll see, but I hope that's what happens. So then we had the celebration of Dr. Britt Baker, DMV, the new AEW Women's Champion. So there was a bunch of talent from AEW roster. They were in the ring. There were balloons. Uh, there was a podium thing with cheeseburgers. Uh, it was okay. So Tony Schiavone was in the ring. He introduced Britt Baker and Rebel. So Britt Baker came out with her new women's championship. Rebel is finally off a crutch. Finally off a crutch. Seems like forever she had a crutch with her. But Britt came out and kind of the opposite as to what we saw with the Inner Circle. So the Inner Circle, there was free T-shirts under every seat. And then, so Britt Baker, because she's a heel, and she talked saying there was burger coupons under each and every seat. So she told them all, look at these seats, yada, yada, yada. And then she's like, oh, right. They're not under there. They're in here. And then she opened this like cloche that was covered by a red towel. So of course the burgers were there. So she said how she only thanks herself. She says in being a new era that DMD, those letters will help elevate AEW. So she said, okay, let's all grab a burger. Just her, Shivani, and Rebel. So she held up the burgers, and now Rose, who was there, she knocked up all the burgers in the air. She poked some of the balloons or popped some of the balloons, and she walked off. And Britt Baker was not happy with it. So maybe we got Britt Baker's first feud as champion. She versus Nyla Rose. Be a decent match. Plus, they have history considering Nyla Rose did injure Britt Baker's leg last year. So perhaps that's Britt Baker's first feud, which I wouldn't mind because eventually we're probably going to retrace back to Britt Baker for Thunder Rosa. And then eventually Chris Statlander, she takes the title off Britt Baker. So interesting to see how they do the women's division going forward. But overall, it was okay. I mean, basically, she's right. It's a new era. The AEW women's division is getting better and better, which, again, we love to see. So Eddie Kingston next. So he saved Pac and Pentagon from post-match attack in their match earlier, and they cut to a segment in the back. Pac said, "Stay out of our business," and then Eddie Kingston said, short and sweet, that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So just keep that in mind. So simple and short. I mean, once again, Eddie Kingston aligning himself with the Dead Triangle while Moxley goes away for a bit. Because they said he was going to be out indefinitely. So he's probably going to take some time with his wife while she gives birth to their new child. But so Eddie Kingston has something to do while he's still feuding with the Bucks. I assume I'm all for it. So then we had Red Velvet versus the Bunny. This wasn't much. They showed what led to it with the Bunny hitting Big Swole with some sort of tapered knuckles, knocking her out, which led to a victory for Nyla Rose on, not sure if it was Dark or Elevation, but nonetheless, that's what led to this match. And Red Velvet, she won with a spinning roundhouse kick to the face of the Bunny. She won. Good for Red Velvet. She needs to be built back up, really, and all in all, good. So now we get to the main event. Nick Comrotto versus Dustin Rhodes. Now, when I look at this match, it perplexes me, because another reason why I'm upset about this Cody Rhodes Anthony Ogogo feud is the fact that Comrotto, who is bigger, he seems wilder, he seems the better draw of the two. And he showed here against Dustin, which wasn't a great match, but it was a solid match. Like, why Ogogo over Comrotto? It just, now, perhaps Comrotto isn't good that much on the mic. Still, I'd take Comrotto, who can wrestle, it appears, against Ogogo, who can talk, but he's still learning in the ring. That's just my 2 cents. But this is a quality match, a bull rope match between the two. So, starting it, Camarda was trying to choke Dustin out with the bull rope, but then Dustin got out. He landed the cowbell to Camarada's face. Then a spear cut by Comrotto on the outside. Comrotto, he was busted open. Now, if I must say, Comrotto needs to lose the streamers on his arms. They look weird. They look goofy and ridiculous. But aside from that, he's got a unique look, Bruiser Brody like. So Aaron Solo, he was at ringside for Comrotto. Austin Gunn, he took out Solo, so it was left being 1-on-1. And then Dustin hit the final reckoning on Comrotto, and Comrotto kicked out at 1. So, big beastly by Comrotto. So, Dustin then hit the cowbell off Camarda's face, landed a Tekiro Bulldog, tied up Camarda's legs, and high stacked for the pin. Quality match between the two. Cowbell match, or Bullrope match, excuse me. Solid match. They went into was an okay fall show from Double or Nothing. So quality match to end the show. Nonetheless, that's the episode for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I did too. If you liked the video, like or subscribe if you're new. So next week again. So switch to topics on Tuesday and AEW Dynamite review on Saturday, while AEW is still exempted for the rest of the month. But thank you for joining me. Have a safe day and peace. And see you next week.